Coming up on the Suze Orman Show. You all want to be financially literate, don't you? But are you getting the best information for yourself and your money? Maybe yes, but maybe no. Also, a Suze follow-up. What was the trigger?
I kept hearing your voice in my head, and it really kind of panicked me to think where I would be when I am ready to retire.
And you asked me, can I afford it?
I want to go on a 14-day China adventure.
$117,000 of student loans deferred. Deferred. Are you out of your mind? Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Tonight, I want to begin with financial education because the money class here is always in session. And April is National Financial Literacy Month. But it's not enough for you just to think you are financially literate. You have to know you are. You have to know that wherever you are getting your information from, your education from, that the information, the education is accurate and will really help you versus help the people who have given you that information. Let me give you an example. Reading the newspaper the other day. Major, national newspaper, got it? And I'm reading it. And there's financial advice in this newspaper that says if you really want to save for retirement, the best place for you to save for retirement is in your 401k plan at work. And that you should max out your 401k plan no matter what else, you should max it out because you get the tax write-off for it. And I'm sitting there going, are you crazy? I am screaming at this newspaper because that is not correct education points for you. You should not just go into a 401k because you get tax deferred. Why? Because tax deferred means your taxes are just deferred until you withdraw the money. And when you do withdraw it, you will withdraw it as ordinary income. Now, many of you think, oh, you'll be in a lower income tax bracket years from now. How do you know? How do you know that, in fact, the entire government isn't going to raise income tax brackets to take care of their deficits, no matter who is out there? So it is far better, in my opinion, for you to invest in the known versus the unknown. The unknown meaning your tax bracket. I would rather see you invest in a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k where you pay the taxes now while currently we're in the lowest income tax bracket still of our lifetime, and that money gets to grow tax-free. There are so many things that you need to know that sometimes I get so afraid for all of you that you're learning from the wrong source. Let me give you another example. Major Money magazine, not money, but a magazine that deals with money. And it has said over and over again, you don't need a living revocable trust. You just need to own your home in joint tenancy with right of survivorship, and that will take care of it for you. Are you kidding me? What if you don't die? What if you both own this home in joint tenancy with right of survivorship and one of you gets sick, and now you need to sell the house because you don't have the income to keep it? Is a will going to help you? No, because you haven't died. Now you need to sell the house. Can you sell it? No, because one of you may be incapacitated. Who knows the type of illness they have? And you need both of your signatures to sell it, and on and on and on. Or you get older, like my mama at 97, and she couldn't pay her bills. She couldn't write checks. She needed somebody to help her. So a living revocable trust with an incapacity clause would have solved all that. You need a living revocable trust. Yet this one magazine continues to tell you you don't with wrong information. So here is the bottom line. Financial literacy should be your life's ambition because you need to know about your money. And if you want to come to the best place, bar none, to find out what you really need to know, and it's good information because it's accurate, just come right here to the Suze Orman Show. Let's go to Stephanie in New York. Go for it.
Hi, Suze. Great to talk to you. I love your show.
Thank you, madam. What can I do for you tonight?
Yes, so on a recent visit home to see my parents who live in the Midwest, I was celebrating the holidays and my mom's birthday, And I was noticing that they've been having some financial troubles, and from what I could tell, it's kind of been happening for a while now, but it's starting to show visible signs. Before the market crashed, they were fortunate enough to sell their house, and they bought it free and clear, and they didn't have a mortgage. But since then, in the past couple of years, they actually took out a new mortgage on this house, and now they're kind of struggling to pay the bills. My dad's been in the hospital a couple times, so they have some outstanding medical bills. And I'm just having a hard time asking the right questions or finding out how I can help them, because I'm a younger person. I live in New York. I'm not by them, and I've never owned a house before, so I'm not really sure where to start.
So, Stephanie, let me ask you this. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. How old are they?
64, my mom, and my dad's 79.
79. So your father is a lot older than your mother, number one.
Yes.
Now, not that this is easy what I'm about to say, but it is a true fact. Men, actuarially speaking, die before women do. I don't know why that is, but it's true. So if your father is having medical problems right now, it is possible and probable that he will absolutely die before your mother, who's probably in good health. Is she in good health?
Yes.
So the first thing you really need to do is use that as an excuse as to why you want to talk to mama and daddy about their situation. Don't go to them and say, you know, I've noticed that you are in financial trouble, because they'll feel embarrassed. They'll feel like they don't want to make it your problem. But
Right.
given that you know your father isn't feeling well and they have medical bills, that is the reason that, you know, you guys, we have to talk about this. Mom, if something happens to dad, are you going to be okay? Do you get a pension? Do you get his Social Security? What's going to happen here, Mom? And take it from that point, a point of concern versus worry. And she'll start to open up. I would go to her alone without your father there. That's where I would start. We are going to New York. Medina, you are on the air.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
Fine, thank you, my dear. What can I do for you tonight?
Okay, my question is, I have a friend who is a financial planner, and since they recommended that I get involved with a variable annuity plan, since there are no longer pensions that are really available from most employers. Now, I do have a employer-sponsored 401 and an individual 401k, and I do invest in a traditional IRA. And I just wasn't sure, because it requires an investment of a large sum of money, anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. And I wasn't sure if this was a good way to save for retirement.
Medina, how good is this friend? How good of a friend is this person?
Well, a new friend?
A new
Not
friend.
that-
There's no way
Yes.
it could have been a good old friend, because a good old friend would have watched with you the Suze Orman Show, and a good old friend would know how much I hate variable annuities. In my opinion, they do not make sense in any circumstance whatsoever. They are sold to you under the guidance that, guess what, Medina, you put money in here and it grows tax deferred, and then when you take it out, it's ordinary income to you. Are you kidding me? You're not going to do it. Just let me make it simple. Just stay away and tell that new friend of yours, shoo, shoo, shoo. We are going to Ohio, and Liz, you are on the air.
Hi, Susie. My fiance and I are getting married this summer. And while I've accumulated a decent retirement and I've been a homeowner for the last 8 years, he'll be bringing debt to the marriage. He calls it good debt, recent school loans, and a car loan. Do you think we should get a prenup?
Yeah, I think you should get a prenup. You never know what can happen in a relationship, meaning maybe he starts to make far more money than he's making right now, or he has. Things can change. Also, people don't understand that after you have said, I do, you are both responsible for each other's debt, even though it's in your single name, that you have accumulated after the marriage date. So let's just say he goes out there and he makes a whole lot more debt He has credit card debt in his single name, and you don't even really know about it. Now something goes wrong. Now you get divorced, and he claims bankruptcy. Those credit cards are going to come knocking at your door for you to pay them because he got them while you were married. If you have a prenup, you can also make it so the prenup states that you're not going to be responsible for his debt in his individual name after marriage, and he can't be responsible for yours. So you plan for everything while you're in a state of love, not when you are in a state of hate. Go get a prenup. Coming up next, a Suze follow-up. It has now been exactly, truthfully, 2 years since you were on the Suze Orman Show.
It was a little bit of a struggle.
Here's the problem. And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I went to go to the Mensa convention in Boston.
Do you get lonely because there really aren't all these geniuses around, so you're always talking to us that we're like, duh, duh? Welcome back, everybody, to a Suze follow-up with a one-on-one who couldn't stop giving her money away, even to the detriment of herself and her family. Take a look at Pat's first visit in 2012. What doesn't make sense to me, especially as I look at your finances, that you really don't have hardly any money at all for yourself, but yet you still are giving it away.
I do have amazing kids, a wonderful husband, a terrific family, a job I absolutely love, and I just feel the need to pay it forward.
But you're paying it forward with the expense being the fact that you don't really have money to send your kids to school. You don't have any retirement account in place for you for what you really need. You're doing all of these things for others, but for your own family, you have written them, including yourself, out of the equation. Here's what scares me. You are 50 years of age right now. How many more years do you have left on your mortgage?
28.
28. That brings you to almost 80 years of age where you are still paying a mortgage that's about $4,000 some odd a month, just for a mortgage payment. So if we project ahead 15 years, you're 65, maybe 17 years from now, nothing has changed, you've been giving everything away. How do you think that you're going to be able to generate enough money to live any type of life at all? I'd like to make a proposal to you. You get an $8,000 a month bonus. If you today just start putting that bonus away and you live just on your incomes, everything else that can't fit in your actual incomes, you cut out right now. And if you instruct that bonus just to be put away every single month where you cannot touch it, you don't see it, by the time you are 65, you should have $1.5 or $2 million put aside that now makes your life more realistic as you get older. Are you willing to do that with me?
I'm certainly willing to try. It sounds pretty steep from going from not being able to save anything to $8,000.
Pat.
Hi,
Pat,
Suze.
look at you. You look so much better. Not that you looked bad before, but you look great. First of all, I'm so happy. Tell me all about it, because everybody just heard how you gave everything away, you weren't saving, and you said it sounded steep to you, but you would try. So it has now been exactly, truthfully, 2 years since you were on the Suze Orman Show. Tell everybody what happened.
Well, we started small. We refinanced. We now have a little under 13 years left on our mortgage, which was huge. I have some savings. I have college plans for my children. I am saving for myself. I saved several, probably $600 a month plus just for my own personal savings. That doesn't include what I save for the children. And I think I'm right on track. I think I'm doing great.
What was the trigger? What allowed you to pull it so that you could shoot right to where you needed to go?
Well, it didn't come that easily. It was a little bit of a struggle, but I kept hearing your voice in my head, and it really kind of panicked me to think where I would be when I am ready to retire. and where my children will be when they're ready for school, for college. So I really tried to stay focused, and it was a really great feeling. The more I saw the bank account go up, the better I felt.
I have to show everybody what is possible in just a 2-year period of time. So before you had about $7,200 in an emergency fund, you have about $63,000 now.
Yeah,
You had $52,000 about in retirement. You now have about $84,000. Investments, you had about $83,000. You now have about $160,000. And your net worth, look at this. Your net worth was about $198,000. It's now $670,000. That is a $500,000 difference. That means over the 2 years, it's like you've saved $675 a day, if you think about it, for it to go up $500,000 in 2 years.
Wow.
That's what that breaks down to. Are you just as proud as you could be?
I am, and I didn't realize those were the numbers.
You know, you used to give away almost $500 a month in donations. You're only giving $250 away now.
Right.
Gifts, you used to spend $640 a month on gifts. All right, $290 a month. Entertainment, you used to spend $450 a month, now only $87. And on vacations, $375 a month, and now it's $125. Amazing.
Right.
Just amazing. So even with your new numbers, you have still today about almost $15,000 a month of after-tax income. Your expenses really are about, $11,000, $12,000 a month. You have almost $3,000 a month in excess. So what is your question for me now?
My son is going to be going off to college in 2 years.
Yes.
He has worked so very hard throughout his whole education to really focus. He has goals. He's an amazing kid, an amazing student. And Dave and I are not on the same wavelength as to Dave thinks he should go to a state school. My son has a dream of going to a private school. And I was wondering your opinion on that.
Am I to answer this question not including anything Dave may have and just based on what you have given me about yourself? You want me to answer that question. Is that correct?
That I would say yes, that is correct, because at this point, Dave has not saved anything for the children's college.
Here's the problem. If I just project out for you, forget about your son's college for now, and I project out 13 years until you are 65, knowing that the house is going to be paid off, knowing that you may retire at that time, looking at everything just on your money, I'm still about $6,000 a month short, believe it or not, of money that you will probably need, because you're only going to have approximately $464,000 in your retirement if you continue to save like you are, based on a 4% growth rate, because I have to be conservative for you.
Right.
The truth is you would need about $1.8 million in that retirement account to generate the $7,000 a month of income that I think you are going to need as you get older, because we need long-term care. We need all kinds of things that you don't have. So I'm going to say this to you with the utmost love. If you want to look at just your money alone for whatever reason, you do not have the money to save to send your son and then your daughter, who's just a few years behind your son, to private school at all. If you are going to continue to put yourself first alone, I need you to take every penny that you are now putting towards their college education, and I need it to go towards you and your future, believe it or not. So that is the answer, Pat. Another light bulb moment here. That as great as you are doing, you cannot have your cake and eat it too in this situation. So the kids, in my opinion, go to a public university. There is nothing wrong with that on any level, because you have got to put yourself first, and all of that money has got to go to your future, or you are going to have trouble meeting your bills still. Okay, sweetheart?
I understand.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
We want to add covered parking with extra storage for about $7,500.
everybody out there is thinking, like, is that a correct number? What is that about? And Can I Afford It Junior?
I would like to buy the Lego Architecture Imperial Hotel, Susie.
For almost $130?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to buy?
Covered parking with extra storage.
China adventure.
Lego Architecture Imperial Hotel.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in. You tell me what it is that you want to buy. I do not judge you. I do not judge that you may want to buy ridiculous things. I just tell you if you can afford it or not. Let's see what we've got going. Crystal, what do you want to buy?
Hey, Susie. My husband and I have lived in our home for a little over 5 years, and we want to add covered parking with extra storage for about $7,500.
So that's not so much to ask. So do you just park your cars outside now and they get rained on and everything else?
Exactly.
Exactly. All right. So for covered parking with storage, show me the money, sweetheart.
Okay, our take-home is $94.50 a month, and that includes $11.50 a month for a rental. Our expenses are $5,612 a month. For debt, we have $249,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and we own our rental home outright.
Great.
And in savings, we have $40,000 in liquid, $1,000 in investments, $405,000 in retirement, and $10,000 in a 529 plan.
Before I come down with it, how at 28 do you have $405,000 in retirement? Because everybody out there is thinking, like, is that a correct number? What is that about? Why? How did you do that?
That is for my husband and I. That's combined. He's an attorney, and he's been really good about investing in his 401k. So most of that is
love
his.
that for you. Unbelievable. Well, it's difficult because obviously at 28 with $405,000 in retirement, you have been denied. Oh, and the reason you've been denied is this. You are going to pay for this. You're going to pay for it out of cash. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So now that only brings you down with $7,500. So that brings you down to about $32,000. Seems like okay to me, given that you have all this other money. The problem is you really need $48,000 in an emergency fund, because the bulk of your money is somewhere where you really cannot touch it. And given that, you're gonna have all this stuff, kids, whatever's going on, I just don't think it's wise. You need to have more of an emergency fund, then take care of your cars. All right, Nikki, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to go on a 14-day China adventure.
14 days to China, $5,000. That's not so much for 2 weeks in China.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's actually through a great discount, so I'm excited.
All right. So, Nikki, don't get too excited till I approve you. But to do so, you have to show me the money.
Okay, no problem. Well, Susie, my take-home is $4,155, and that includes rental income. My expenses are $3,001 a month. For debt, I have $123,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage and $117,000 in student loans deferred. And in savings, I have $13,000 liquid, $2,700 in investments, and $95,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
Well, I want to liquefy my investments, which happen to be Series I savings bonds from 2006 to 2008. And then I want to save up the balance of $2,300 by August.
And so you're not really going to touch your liquid at all. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so that's good because you are denied. Oh, yes. And the reason you are denied is $117,000 of student loans deferred. Deferred. Are you out of your mind? The last thing you should be doing is deferring that much in student loans, because that's going to turn into $200, it's going to turn into $400,000, and you will never, ever get out of it. And going to China is not a priority, especially when you are 34 years of age. I don't care if you're excited. You would be more excited if your student loans were out of deferment. And you also don't even have enough money with the $13,000 in liquid. You should have at least $24,000 in liquid. And if you were paying your student loans, that would be $1,000 a month. So then you would need even more. You would need close to, $40,000 in emergency. No, you're not going to China. You're just not going. Doreen, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Doreen. What do you want to buy?
I want to go to the Mensa convention in Boston. At these annual gatherings, we socialize, attend programs, go to dances, play games, and explore the city on outings. I've gone to other ones, but would like to know if I can afford it.
So Mensa means you're just a genius, yeah?
Yeah.
And is it fun? Because as a genius, do you get lonely because there really aren't all these geniuses around, so you're always talking to us that we're like, duh, duh. And when you're with these other real geniuses, because that's what Mensa is, we're not talking my type of genius, we're talking real genius there, in my opinion. Does it just stimulate you as well?
Yeah, and it's not just at the annual gatherings. I attend things in my local group, but it's extra fun in the annual gatherings because you get to see people from across the country.
I got so this is more fun than anything else, girlfriend. Right. Show me the money.
Okay, my take-home pay is $3,276 a month. My expenses are $1,988 a month. For debt, I owe $54,000 on a 15-year fixed mortgage, and in savings, I have $19,000 liquid, $4,400 in investments, and $80,000 in retirement.
And how do you plan to pay for this?
Liquid savings.
Now, before I answer, it has down here that you are a financial analyst. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're a brilliant financial analyst because you're part of Mensa, correct?
Yes.
If you were going to look and analyze your finances that I see on the screen here, would you approve or deny yourself?
Well, it's kind of iffy because it's only $1,500 and compared to my take-home pay and expenses, but then I need more in retirement.
I just approve or deny yourself. What do you think? What would you do?
I would approve.
You would, you are denied.
Okay.
Because you are letting your emotions, girlfriend, you are 39 years of age. You have only $80,000 in investments. That is nowhere near what you need to have at your age. Are you kidding me? Be really smart about this and don't go. All right. This is the part of the Suze Orman Show I always wait for. It is Can I Afford It Junior. This is where somebody under the age of 16 calls in and they tell me what they want to buy and I approve or deny them. All right, are we ready? Ayana, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I love your show so much. I've been watching it since I was born.
Since you were born. So you have been watching it. How old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
So you have been watching it for 10 years. Girlfriend, what do you want to buy?
I would like to buy the Lego Architecture Imperial Hotel, Susie.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's like the Imperial Hotel. Do you even know where the Imperial Hotel happens to be?
Yeah, it's in Japan, Tokyo, Japan.
All right, so you want to get a Lego set. An architectural Imperial Hotel Lego set for almost $130?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and is this your first time you're doing Lego, or are you really good at this?
I'm really good at this.
How many have you had? How many do you got?
I have 4 so far.
And look at them, all right? I'm looking at them, and when you build them, what do you do with them? Do you learn something? Does it help you? What do you want to be an architect when you grow up?
Yeah, I love building things, and I like to be an engineer when I grow up. Yeah, and it helps me learn more problem solving because they become more challenging.
I love this for you, girlfriend, but here's the thing. As much as you love it, you have to have the money to buy it, so show it to me, my doll.
Okay, Susie. My take-home income is $20 a month for allowance. My expenses are $7 a month for my website. It's called yayastart.com.
Oh, so you've started your own website. I'm going to have to look at this. Go on.
Okay, I have no debt, and I have $1,800 in liquid savings, and I have $13,000 in college funds.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I'm going to pay for this, Susie, by using the $50 gift card I got for Christmas, and the rest of the money will be coming out of my liquid savings.
All right, I'm looking at this money. I'm looking at that you have expenses because now you are a businesswoman where you have your own URL, your own website, all of that. So before, however, I give you my verdict, I'm inviting a viewer verdict here. So everybody watching, if you think I should approve Ayana, tweet #approved. If you think I should deny her, tweet #deny to @Suze Orman Show. And I'll be giving my final verdict later in the show. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? Come on, it's so much fun. All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. And if we choose you to be on the air, Robo Man, you will get a t-shirt with my verdict on it just for you. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Susie. Also know that you will owe taxes depending on the savings bond you have. And later, it's Susie 911 help for a money emergency. And how much money did he take from your accounts altogether?
Gosh, we had about $10,000 in one of our bank accounts, and he just went in and wiped it all out.
And now's the time to get your viewer verdict in for Ayana. Would you approve or deny? Tweet me @Suze Orman Show. Welcome back, everybody. Control room right here of CNBC headquarters. So many ways that you can be part of the Suze Orman Show. Take a look at your screen. You can send in an email. You can join me on Facebook, or if you want, send in a tweet, #AskSuze. It comes right to us here in the control room. And if we choose your tweet, it will be on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. We have at Tisme 1020, I'm 60 years old. Is it too late for me to open a Roth account? How long do I need to wait before I can draw from it? It is not too late for you to open up a Roth account if you have earned income. Remember, you need earned income to be able to invest in a retirement account. So if you have earned income, no, it's not too late. You can withdraw your original contributions anytime you want, regardless of age, without taxes. But for you to take everything out, the account has to be open for at least 5 years. So let's say you invest, and you invest $6,500 this year, and you just invested in something that now turns into $15,000. You hit it big. You cannot touch anything above that original $6,500 without taxes and penalties unless it's been in there for 5 years. So only your original contributions, your growth needs to stay there at least 5 years. Got that? Let's see what else is trending. We have at Jennifer Renee 12. Would it be a good idea to cash out some savings bonds I've had for years to help pay down a $44,000 student loan debt? Boy, Jennifer, this is a hard one for me to answer because I don't know. What is the interest rate that you're paying on your student loan? What is the interest rate that your savings bonds are giving you? You know, I still have some savings bonds from way back when that are giving me 7%. So why would I want to cash in a savings bond at 7% to pay down a student loan debt that maybe is only at 4% or 5%? Look at the interest rates. Also know that you will owe taxes depending on the savings bond you have, but you may owe taxes on the interest, so you have to take that into consideration as well when you cash it out. I don't know if it's easy enough for you really to be paying your student loan and it's a high interest rate on your savings bond. I wouldn't do it. However, if you're struggling paying your student loan and it's not a high interest rate, cash it out, pay the taxes, and go for it. Let's go to Susie Webcam. Caitlin in Illinois, what do you need to know?
Hi, Susie. I've saved almost $8,000 now by working after school, and I'm wondering if it's too early to start saving for retirement, and if it's not too early, where I should be putting all this money.
$8,000 simply by working after school. Everybody watching right now tonight, look at Caitlin. Look what is possible if you just save a little bit. All of a sudden it's $8,000, then it's more. Caitlin, listen to me. It is never too soon to begin. You could immediately open up a Roth IRA for last year and then fund it as well for this year. You could put all $8,000 into a Roth IRA. Now listen closely, the difference why it is not too early. You start right now. You start with that $8,000 and you add, let's just say, $300 a month, and you do so every month until you are 67, so about 50 years from now. And let's say over that time you can average 10% in the market, up, down, but over 50 years, 10% annual average yield. Do you know that you would have about $6.5 million in that Roth IRA when you are 67? But let's just say you want to wait just 10 years until you're 27 to start. If you started at 27 versus now, at 67 and 40 years from then, do you know you'd have only $2.5 million? So those 10 years would have cost you $4 million. Do you think it's too soon to start? I don't. Go and do it right now, girlfriend. All right, everybody, let's go back to the studio, and here's what's coming up next. Need help right now? It's Susie 911.
When I tried to get a new bank account, basically he had wiped out our bank accounts 29 times in the last 6 months.
You have been in a relationship with a blindfold on, and later my final verdict for Ayana. You still have time to get your viewer verdict in. Tweet #approved or #denied at Suze Orman Show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Suze Orman Show. It's time for my newest segment, Suze 911, where help for your money emergency is just a phone call away. Let's activate the call wall categories and find out what my next caller needs immediate help with. We have, all right, divorce. Tell me your name and what's your money emergency?
Hi, Susie. I'm Kelly from North Carolina. I'm going through a nasty divorce where my husband cleaned out all of our bank accounts. And I left literally on a Friday and started a new job on a Monday. And then for the first 6 weeks, I just lived on people's couches, whoever would take me in. And I'm getting my act together, and I'm making payments on credit cards through a credit agency. However, I have a timeshare looming over my head. My husband was great in talking me into buying a vacation timeshare, and it's just in my name solely, and I'm just days away from it being turned over to a collection agency. My FICO score is 620, and I don't know if I should just let it go into foreclosure or what I should do at this point. So I desperately need your help.
All right, so Kelly, can we talk? First of all,
Yes.
how long were you married to this man?
2 years.
2 years. And in those 2 years that you were married, did he make money?
He did, but I did not realize that he had a gambling addiction.
And did you make money?
I did. I was a nurse, and I also had my own business.
And how much money did he take from your accounts altogether?
Gosh, we had about $10,000 in one of our bank accounts, and he just went in and wiped it all out. And when I tried to get a new bank account, basically he had wiped out our bank accounts 29 times in the last 6 months we were married.
And that you didn't have any idea about?
No. Mm-mm.
All right.
If he ever thought I was going to leave him, he would take all the money out.
And have you spoken to a lawyer to be able to go after him or put any liens or anything that you can on him?
Yes, I do, because we also own a house together.
And
this is the only thing that's solely in my name alone. But yes, I'm in a legal battle. I've been in a legal battle for 6 months now.
And the house that you own, did I just hear you say that it's just in your individual name?
The timeshare is in my name alone. The house is in our name jointly.
And do you have equity in that house?
Yes, I do.
You do. All right. Kelly, here's the first thing I'm going to say to you. You have been in a relationship with a blindfold on for 2 years, and possibly even a lot longer to that, because you probably knew him before you got married. It is time that, if you haven't done so already, that you take the blindfold off and you bring out your warrior equipment. You have got to be a warrior. I have this saying on the Suze Orman Show, and not turn your back on the battlefield. This is not the time for you to be Kelly's sweet little wife, ex-wife. Husband's got a gambling addiction, poor thing. This is the time that you go after him, lock, stock, and barrel, guns blazing, girlfriend, to get everything that you deserve. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
And you need to care more about yourself and paying for your bills than some stupid timeshare, even the stupid credit cards, believe it or not, and your stupid credit score. Because while I understand how important a credit score is, it is even more important that you have money to live, money to feed yourself, money so you can feel better about yourself. And paying old debt isn't going to make you feel better about yourself. So don't care about your score right now. Get rid of all these things, especially the timeshare. Let it go into foreclosure. Let it ding you, and you will work your way out of this. But the true thing you need to do more than your score is to really learn from this lesson so it never, ever, ever happens to you again. And if you have a money emergency and need my help, just go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and hit Susie 911. My final verdict for Ayanna is next. Now, do you want to say anything before I make my final verdict?
I hope I get approved.
Welcome back to the Can I Afford It? Final verdict. So earlier, my Can I Afford It junior 10-year-old Ayanna asked me if she could afford to spend $130 on a Lego architectural model kit. Do you want to be an architect when you grow up?
Yeah, I love building things, and I like to be an engineer when I grow up. Yeah, and it helps me learn more problem solving because they become more challenging.
I asked you all to tweet your viewer verdict. And now it's time for my final verdict. So, Ayanna, are you still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are. So first, let's remind everyone what you had to work with. You get $20 a month in allowance, and you have expenses of $7 a month to maintain your website. You have no debt. You have $1,800 in liquid savings and $13,000 in a college fund. Now, Ayanna, that's good, right?
Yep.
That is a lot of money. Now, do you want to say anything before I make my final verdict?
I hope I get approved.
Girlfriend, you are asking me to let you spend $130 when you have $1,800 in savings, even though you have a $50 gift certificate to do so, and therefore you have been approved. Because
Thank you so much, Susie.
Oh, you are welcome. Why do you think I approved you? I just have to ask.
Well, I think you approved me because really I'm only spending $80.
And $80 is how much of what you have in your account. It's far less than the 10%, right, that I use as a rule.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like 5% of what you have. If you always live your life like that, that you have more money than you need to buy something and you never use that much money, you will always be approved. I hope I get to meet you in person one day. But for all of you that are watching, you need to know about your money. Remember, this is Financial Literacy Month, and the best place to do it is right here. So until next week, there's only one thing that I really want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.